New Radio Sports Network. Time for another edition of the show with the head coach of the Green Bay Gamblers, Coach Pat Mikesch, coming off a weekend split with the Madison Capitals. And Coach, first of all, welcome. And also, are you excited for this 4-game road trip coming up after you've had these 1-game weekends, you've had these home and homes? But now for the next 2 weekends, thanks to state volleyball this weekend, and I believe Jim Gaffigan and probably something else next weekend, you're on the road here for a while.
Yeah, we'll get busy with it. Our last couple of road outings have been pretty good hockey games for our team. So, I think we're comfortable now getting off the bus and having to play some important games. So it's going to be 2 weeks straight, and then we'll get to finish the month at home, which is nice. But I think it's good. This will be our first overnight will be this weekend. So it's kind of a good time of the year. The guys get to spend some time together, kind of have some sit-down meals together, everything that way. That's not just a day trip to Dubuque or a day trip to Madison.
Now, growing up in Chicago, I remember the circus trip or the Disney on Ice trips where you're out of the building for, 2 weeks at a time. Obviously, a little bit different in junior hockey since you primarily play on the weekends. But how important is it for your team in kind of developing that chemistry to have, an extended road trip like this where, you're out of town for 2 weekends?
Well, it gets to be a little bit of a different environment because we're not practicing in the Resch Center with everything changing over. So, we're on a 3-week stretch right now where we'll be at Cornerstone, having our practices over there and kind of basing out of there where, and that's where we do our training over there in the mornings anyway. So it's a little bit of a, move out of the Resch kind of for the guys. And we're going to be, working in a different area and getting ourselves ready to get on a bus on Friday and play a very good Chicago team.
Now, if I remember right, like Wisconsin, for example, just the size of the rink is a little bit different, I believe, at the Kohl Center than it is at the LeBron. Is it kind of similar with Cornerstone and Resch Center? And if so, how does that kind of maybe help you get ready for some of the other teams that might have some different ice shapes or widths, if you will, when it comes to playing those games?
Yeah, no, we don't have the different sizes that way. The Cornerstone has the NHL sheet, just like we play on here at the Resch. The only difference is it's a lot colder. So we have to dress warmer as coaches and keep moving that way. But it's practice-wise, it's a great spot for us. They've always been great to us over in their building and welcomed us in. And, during different times of the year, we spend a lot of time there. So it's a spot we all get comfortable, but this is kind of now the first time of the year we're really basing out of there, and it's going to be a 3-week stretch here with everything going on. We'll move back in to the Resch Center on the 19th of November before we play that game on the 20th against Youngstown.
And you're coming off a weekend split of the Madison Capitals. When you look back at that weekend, what really sticks out to you?
Well, I loved our game Friday night. It was one of that we got better and better as the game went on. And the third period was probably our best road period of the year. We really limited to their opportunities and managed pucks extremely well. And then Saturday was a tough one for me because I thought we had a great start. We didn't score on some opportunities to make it 1, 2, 3, nothing. Hit some posts, ran some great power play looks, and then we let them stick around. And then we end up in a 1-1 game after 2 periods, and we needed to go get that third period and finish off the sweep. And we weren't at our best. And Madison's a very good team, and they're going to be a tough opponent all year long. But we needed to be better in that third period than we were. What
was the discussion like in the locker room after that? Like you said, you're a period away from having a perfect weekend, and things just didn't come together in that third period.
Well, I thought it started in the second period and then it built into that third. Anytime we were getting momentum or trying to build momentum, it felt like we took a penalty. And so during the game, I didn't have a great feel for what those penalties looked like. I wanted to spend some time, look at them on video. So I just talked to the guys. I said, I think we kicked ourselves tonight, and I just want to see the video and see what we could have done better and see if we kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball with some of those penalties. And, looking back now, that was an area we could have been cleaner and used the home momentum, the home crowd to our advantage. And we kind of kept putting ourselves behind the 8 ball with those penalties.
What did the video end up showing up on those penalties? Was it shooting yourself in the foot?
Yeah, it was a little bit like there was a couple calls I thought were very marginal compared to other things that were being let go. But ultimately, you can't put yourselves in those situations. And we got some great kills, and then they created their one opportunity they needed to on a rebound, and that's you end up losing a game, off of those type of bounces when you give the other team their opportunities.
And obviously, it's not the same thing. If you lose the night before, sometimes you have a Saturday to go to it. Are you excited for the chance that, you'll have a rubber match with Madison relatively quickly, with that being, I believe, your Saturday game?
Yeah, that'll be a great Saturday outing. We always talk, we can't worry about Saturday until we get through 3 periods on Friday night. So we know we play a very good Chicago team in their building on Friday, but this Madison group is going to be a good rivalry this year. And they're playing fast. They pressure on every situation. So I think we're going to see a lot of Madison through the year, but I don't want to focus on that Saturday game until we do our job here on Friday.
And I believe you played an excellent game against Chicago earlier this year. You won that one 2-1. How do you see things shaking out when you head down to Geneva, Illinois, where the Chicago Steel play?
Well, I mean, we won't have the last change this time, so they're going to be able to the team that can dictate who they want their top line playing against. Where, I thought we did a great job against Fantilli the last time when he was in our building. So we'll go down there. We're going to need all 4 lines, committed to playing well against their top line, and then we need to be good offensively against their other groups. And we did a nice job of that last time. It was a good 63 and a half minutes, I think it was, to get that win in overtime. So not having that last change, it'll be more about our whole team concept playing against their top guys.
And obviously the Gamblers were blessed all of last season to have crowds, although it was a reduced capacity. They were able to have crowds all season long. Obviously, Madison didn't even play last year. In Chicago, I believe it would have been till the maybe the very, very later stages of last season where they were allowed to have fans. How has your crew really adjusted now, not playing in empty stadiums anymore? Now they know that they got to deal with the crowds every night.
So I think it brings that much more excitement to the game. We always talk about quieting the other team's crowd, and last year we'd go on the road and it was quiet in a lot of different buildings because there was nobody there. So, it's something this younger group will have to learn about, managing road games. And sometimes when the other team gets a little momentum, you take a little extra long getting to a face off and just kind of quiet down the building the best you can. But ultimately having crowds and having that environment makes it enjoyable for all these younger players that are kind of living through this experience for the first time.
A month into the season, pretty good mark to start things off. Obviously, there's probably some easy choices for this, but if you were to pick an MVP of the first month of the season, who are you picking? If you want to pick multiple or one for offense and defense, you go right ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Hallam's been that goal scorer. He's created the opportunities for himself with that speed and everything. But, I think a big one is Aaron Randazzo. Is just kind of, he had the one outing where he probably wanted 1 or 2 back. But other than that, he's been really good back there. And even in our loss on Saturday night, I mean, some of the stops he made giving us the opportunity was key.
Jackson Hallam, picking him as an offensive MVP is like determining if water's wet. That's how good his season's been so far.
Yeah, and there's still parts of his games that I think are still going to continue to develop. And that's the big part for him is, we want him to be completely ready to go play for the University of Michigan when he goes next year. And so it's an ongoing development process, but that goal scoring is special. And we want to make sure he can do it all before he leaves us.
And what's maybe the one aspect of your team's game right now that when you reflect on how October went, that you said that you're saying in November, hey, we got to get a lot better at this if we're going to continue to win some hockey games?
We need to develop in our special teams. I think looking at where we are in the standings, if we're going to be moving up, both our power play and our penalty kill are going to have to become cleaner for us. And that's a target for us right now. As you said, it's a fresh month. You're going on the road. You need to have special teams when you play on the road. So it's a great time of the year for us to really reset in both those situations and get ourselves, moving up the standings, knowing that we have those special teams to go along with them.
How hard is it to develop your power play and your penalty kill teams?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is based on what you have returning. And if you have guys who were in those situations, key situations a year ago, a lot of times they can reset your power play or your penalty kill. And we lost a lot of those guys, the Jake Schmaltzes, the Cam Thiesings, Jesse Tuckers that played in all those situations last year are on this college. So we have some new guys are getting some opportunities there. And so, it's more about just finding what works for them. I mean, we can't force feed something that we want to be a great power play. We got to find the right situations for these guys to play in.
Well, once again, no hockey on the radio stations of the new Radio Sports Network until after we get through this road trip here, but still plenty of hockey to follow along. You'll be able to find previews and recaps at newradiosportsnetwork.com as the Green Bay Gamblers travel to face the Chicago Steel on Friday and the Madison Capitals on Saturday. Coach, we wish you good luck and make sure you send us a postcard.
Yeah, I'll keep you in the loop on my travels here in the Midwest.
All right, very good. For the new Radio Sports Network, I'm Tim Coles.